Hello again. So this is the orchard on the left side of the farm as soon as you get in the farm. So we call this orchard the Macnut orchard, although it's not, Macnut is the only, it's not the only tree among these fruit trees here. So on this side of the orchard, this row are what we call the rambutan trees. They flower and in spring, and they are ready to be harvested at the end of spring. They can flower twice, and they've been flowering early this year, and obviously they're not at the flowering stage. Different varieties though. Some of them are pure red, some of them have red skin and the tendrils, the hair-like structures sticking out of the skin. Some of them are actually yellow or yellow green. Quite pretty. My favorite one is one, two, three, four. Number four. That variety, the endosperm, doesn't doesn't stick on the seed, and so when you eat it, it peels right off the seed. So it's really it's nice. It's nice to eat. Okay. The next row. Next row here, these are lychees. Obviously, they have fruited, and there's probably three kinds of lychees here. One of them is Caimana, which is the local variety. It's the second one. It's the best fruiting lychee around here too. This one hasn't fruited in well, actually it has fruited, but only certain parts of the tree. And the trick with this tree is that when you experience winter that is really cold, 40 or right above 40, or below 50, that is the trigger for these plants to actually flower and bloom and give you a lot of fruits. So when you have lychees, that means that your winter has been very cold in Hilo. Next, this row right here, this is a cousin, relative of rambutan. It's called Pulasan. The tendrils, the little hairs that sticks out of the rambutan. This one is almost like a bump, but if you compare it, taste-wise, I actually like this better. I think it has more sugar in it, in its fruit, in the sperm. The only thing is they don't grow very well around here. They're kind of stunted, and I think because of that, because we don't really fertilize our fruits a lot, so this one is quite voracious in terms of fertilization. So you really have to take care of it if you want this fruit to really flourish, produce a lot of leaves and then a lot of fruits. Next one up, on this side of the row, these are star fruits. Star because when you get a cross section of the fruit, it actually resembles a 5-point star. Very sweet. My favorite tree is one, two, three, number four. It's not very huge in terms of the size of the fruit, but man, it's quite sweet, quite special. Calm down. These are heavy fruiters. The fruits are so heavy. Sometimes the branches cannot really take it, or cannot really lift it up or carry it, and so sometimes they just breaks and the fruit. So we're looking for ways to actually recycle the fruits, because we cannot really consume all the fruits that this tree produces. So if any one of you are interested in processing fruits later on in the semester, go for it. In 2015, the class actually made wines out of it. So if you're into that, you're welcome to make some wine. We experimented on topping this all the way down, because this is one of the largest trees, and once you top this, they just grow like crazy, just like the wax apple. We do have jackfruit. Oh, I smell. I think this is ripe. Well, I'm sure this is ripe. because the smell is just so nice. So jackfruits can weigh from 3 to 30 pounds. I mean, I'm not kidding either. I come from a country where jackfruits grow so well. That is ripe. Maybe I'll take that with me today. Jackfruits, they hang on the trees. Some of the jackfruits actually are born underground. So if you see a bump on this on the soil, it could have been maybe a jackfruit. There's cashew tree that never fruited, and there's a mango next to it, and then the rest are Macnuts. So here in this next 1, 2, 3, 4 rows are macadamia nuts. So Macnuts, they're not native here. They were introduced in Hawaii in 1948, actually, as, oh, was it 1948? Hold on, it was introduced as an industry in the 48s, but in 1948, but it was discovered in, hold on a second, the first European to discover it was Alan Cunningham in 1828, and it was the British botanist Ferdinand van Mueller who gave the genus the scientific name Macadamia, named after von Mueller's friend Dr. John McAdams. Yeah, so Macadamia is actually a name of a person. So that was 1857. Fast forward in the first commercial macadamia nuts was established in 1882, and then 1910, that's when Hawaiian agricultural experimentation encourages planting of Macnut on Hawaii's Kona coast as a crop to supplement coffee production in the region. So yeah, so the Hawaiian Agricultural Experimental Station introduced several promising selections in 1948. So this is the cultivars that was introduced here in Hawaii. If you can get a little close-up shot. Okay, so they are numbered 790, 344, 508, 660, 333, and they have the variety name. Some of them are American, European names. Some of them are actually local names like Ka'uk, Kakea, Keao, and Pahala, and Keaho. So these are bred to actually adapt to certain elevations, because Macnuts are very sensitive to elevations. Also, they are bred, their selection is based on the oil content of the nuts, and which should be above 60%, and the sugar content should be around 4%. So if the Macnuts produce that well in certain elevations, so they are chosen to be grown in certain elevations. For instance, Ka'u, which is number 344, is a variety that can grow at 500 to 2,000 feet. So right now they are actually fruiting. They are the actual nuts, and you don't harvest it from the tree. They fall as they mature. So once they fall, all you do is pick them up from the ground. Okay, so this is how you harvest Macnuts. Sadly, you have to have strong knees to be able to harvest these guys, and ideally the ground shouldn't be covered with grass. It's easy to spot them. So the most common practice is to spray it with pesticide, which we don't really care about pesticides here. So we come here and it's really easy to spot them, and if you don't spot them, when you step on it, you'll notice a bump and just harvest it, okay, that way. And then we move it to our the shed, and we have we crack the outer covering of Macnuts, and then we dry them, and then we sell them. We do have something that cracks the actual nut inside, but it only does, like, it's a very slow kind of thing. So we just sell the whole nut to some wholesalers here on the island. All right, that wraps up our Macnut orchard here, and hopefully by next week when they open again, you will see these trees in person. Ciao.